Well, hey kids, Rio here. Welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, so of course today is next in my series of film reviews. And today we're going to be doing another chapter of I Like It, and I Don't Care If You Don't. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite movies in the whole wide world, Toys. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Toys is an American surrealist comedy. It came out in 1992. Interestingly enough, it was originally signed to be produced in like 1978, 79. And the studio that originally had signed to make this film, there was like a change in their management, or something, like after the contract had been signed, and the new management went, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Thank you. And so, Barry Levinson, who was the writer and director, Barry Levinson had to fight for over 10 years to finally get this thing made. And as I said, it came out in 1992. And didn't do so well. I don't know if people just weren't ready for it. I don't know if people didn't understand it. But everything in the background, this thing should have been a success. I think to this day, it's got like a really dinky, like, Rotten Tomatoes score. And in fact, the director was actually, nominated for a Razzie for it. But it did in fact receive a couple Oscar nominations, for set design and costume design, both of which it lost. But let's talk about this movie, and let me explain to you why this movie is amazing.
From Barry Levinson, the Academy Award-winning director of Rain Man.
So the story of Toys it tells the story of Leslie Zevo, who is the rather whimsical adult child of a toy maker. Zevo Toys is like one of these old toy companies that's been around like forever. Think like back in like the 1950s, 1960s, like the old Marx Toys company, like, or like Wham-O, right? One of these, that's what they're basing Zevo on. We come into the story where Leslie's father, Kenneth Zevo, well, he dies. He dies at the beginning of the film. And for some weird reason, he does not leave the toy factory to his son. He doesn't leave it to Leslie. He leaves it to his own brother, okay, Leland.
I don't understand why Daddy let Uncle Leland take over Zevo Toys.
And his brother Leland is like a military guy. He's like a general. He's the whole thing. He doesn't understand toys. He doesn't understand any of this. And he starts making really unsavory changes to the way this toy company operates. And through the course of things, he actually starts developing war toys, but with the actual idea of selling them to the military to use like a miniature army.
I'm moving in with the idea of putting in some war toys.
You never made war toys at Zevo.
So as Leland is basically disassembling this company and turning it into a war factory, Leslie and his sister, Alsacia, are desperately trying to get control of the company away from him and trying to find a way to get things back to the way they were. And that is generally the story. Now, it does get a little more complex than that. We have a character that shows up later, which is actually Leland's son, Patrick, who would be, you know, Leslie and Alsatia's cousin. He shows up too, and he kind of gets stuck in the middle of all of this because he's not really sure what side he's supposed to be on. And so this whole thing kind of plays out like that. Now, I realize it sounds really heavy, and it sounds really, you know, like this is like some really dark movie. It's really not.
Oh, it's a quick egg, isn't it? Maybe they really are deviled eggs. Huevo de Diablo. Save yourself. Get away.
So as I said, the film is directed by Barry Levinson. Award-winning director, Barry Levinson. You know, pick something. Tootsie, Wag the Dog. This guy's done a million movies. Has Oscars. He's got like a whole room full of them, probably. He also wrote the story, along with his then wife, Valerie Curtin. She was an actress. Also won awards as an actress, All the President's Men, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and also wrote for a TV series. She actually, her biggest credit I saw was for a show called Good and Evil that came out in 1991. Our director of photography is Adam Greenberg. Adam Greenberg, who was DP on, among other things, Terminator, Terminator 2, and Ghost. We look at the music on this thing, and this music is a whole conversation unto itself. The majority of the score is being done by Trevor Horn and Hans Zimmer. Now, come on, you got to know who Hans Zimmer is, right? He's done what? Gladiator, like all the stuff that he's done. Gladiator, Lion King, Rain Man, with Barry Levinson. He's actually an Oscar-winning composer. We all know who Hans Zimmer is. What you don't know is that Trevor Horn, was a founding member of the Buggles. Remember? Video Killed the Radio Star? Hans Zimmer was part of that, of the video. I don't know if he like helped direct the video. I don't know if he was part of the band, but these two knew each other all the way back then. Okay, so this is your original score. That's all done by them. However, there are amazing performances on this thing. You have Wendy and Lisa. If you don't know who Wendy and Lisa are, Wendy and Lisa were part of Prince's band The Revolution, up until about 1986. They've released several albums on their own as their own act. They continue to work writing scores for television and movies. They're featured a few times on this soundtrack, along with Seal, along with Peter Gabriel, along with Jane Sibley, who you also might know as Issa. Yeah. Another fascinating little bit, too, is part of the finale of the movie is they're using Pleasure Dome by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Yeah, it turns out Trevor Horn was actually the producer on the album for Pleasure Dome. And it's a mix that's unique to this movie. It's unique to the soundtrack. You can't find it anywhere else. The Into Battle mix, they call it. It's pretty cool. Because it's actually mixed in with Happy Workers by Tori Amos, which is also featured earlier in the film, but is also now in this mix too. It works. It works. The music on this thing is nuts.
Leslie? Alsatia?
Now, as I mentioned, that they had actually gotten Oscar nominations for the set design and the costume design. Okay, the set designer was an Italian designer named Ferdinando Scarfiati. Just to give you some ideas of things he's already done. Let's see, The Last Emperor, Scarface, American Gigolo, Death in Venice. According to what I was reading on this, apparently he spent like over a year designing the sets for this movie. Basically took over the entirety of like the Fox lot of like their sound studios, right? Other stages, building these sets. They're all practical, they're all real. So it's very cool. That's also very, very cool. Now this is one of the things that the aesthetic of the movie is so amazing, because this Italian set designer based a lot of this on like Dadaism, Italian futurism, and surrealism. Specifically, a lot of it, almost one-to-one, based on the works of René Magritte. If you don't know who he is, of course, he was a Belgian surrealist artist. You've seen his work, you might not have known his name. You look at the poster for the movie, and it's exactly like his style, and almost every set is painted and designed to reflect that sort of look. It makes the whole thing very whimsical and very surreal. Like it's nowhere in a real place, right? And I think that gives it a lot of impetus for the story, because it's like a fairy tale almost. You're somewhere that doesn't exist, but yet it does.
We have a tradition of whimsy here at Zevo Tours.
Now, as far as costume design goes, again, they were also nominated for an Oscar for this. The costume designer is Albert Wolski. Again, you may not know his name, but he is an Oscar-winning costume designer. For, among other things, he won Oscars for All That Jazz and Bugsy. And he was also the costume designer on Galaxy Quest.
I'm in the mood for smoked chicken. How about you?
Now, FX gets a little murky because there are so many people that are listed for FX between Viz and practical effects in the show, because, of course, you have all the toys. And they're based on the old Marx toys. I recognize 2 of them as toys I actually had when I was a kid. Now, they aren't the real Marx toys. Those things are worth a friggin' fortune. These are reproductions, and beautiful jobs on this. The builds are dead on. The paint jobs, everything. It looks just like an old Marx toy. And there's tons of them featured in the movie. I don't know where to begin with the FX and the Viz, because there are like a zillion people listed. I did find 2 names specifically that I'm going to call out. Person that was listed as the special effects foreman. So I'm assuming this is the effects director. And his name is David Blitzstein. They Live, The Happening, War of the Worlds, 2005, War of the Worlds. Those are among his credits. And then we have the effects shop foreman. So I'm guessing this is the guy that was the practical on the floor build guy. Randy Cabral worked on Wild Wild West in 1999 and Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, okay. These are just a couple names pulled out at random. Like, there were so many people listed. Though I do want to mention this one too. The special character effects for Alsatia, for Leslie's sister Alsatia, were done by Rob Bottin. RoboCop 7, Total Recall, and The Thing. And if none of that is enough for you, let's talk cast. Leslie Zevo, our hero, Robin Williams.
I'm Leslie Zevo.
He is so good in this. Like, this is like right up his alley. We love Robin. And of course, we all are aware of the fact that Robin left us in 2014. And then we have his sister Alsatia, who's being played by Joan Cusack. Come on, you've seen her in a million things, going back to the 80s, like 16 Candles, Working Girl. You've seen her in so many things. She plays Alsatia, and of course, this is the sister of John Cusack.
So this is Paris.
And we have, of course, Uncle Leland, right? The general. It's Michael Gambon, you guys. It's Michael Gambon. Come on, it's Dumbledore. Michael Gambon, right, is playing Uncle Leland. And of course, as we know, we lost him in 2023. And then, of course, we have Cousin Patrick, Leland's son. It's LL Cool J. It's LL Cool J. Come on, you know him from NCIS. You know Sam Hanna. It's him. And we also have a love interest for Leslie, who's brought into the movie. And our love interest is Robin Wright. Come on, the Princess Bride. It's Princess Buttercup, you guys. And I remember her from back in the day when she was on Santa Barbara.
I like you.
Well, I like you too. I think love is wonderful.
And then, of course, we have the executive assistant, which is Owen Owens. Owen Owens is being played by Arthur Mallet. It's Mr. Aegis. It's Mr. Aegis from The Secret of Nim. It's also Toodles from Hook. The kid that couldn't find his marbles. It's him. Yeah. He's the one playing the executive assistant. Unfortunately, he has also left us. He passed away in 2013. Then, of course, we have Kenneth Zevo. We have the father who passes away in the beginning. So you only have him a short time in the film. Very memorable character, to be sure. He is being played by an actor named Donald O'Connor. Now, Donald O'Connor passed away in 2003. But let me explain to you the pedigree on Donald O'Connor. Donald O'Connor was part of a circus vaudeville family. He's been performing since he was a kid. His very first film credit was when he was 11 years old. He was in a film called Melody for Two with James Melton. He's a dancer. He's a musician. He's a score composer. This guy, you actually would have seen him. One of his most famous roles was in Singing in the Rain. Remember the scene where the dude comes up and bounces at the backflip off the wall? Donald O'Connor. This guy has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. One for his film work and one for his television work. This is Kenneth Zevo.
Oh dear. What's going on here? Are you all right, Kenny?
It's his heart. It's whimsical, Leland.
And then you do have one more character. You have a nurse character who's pretty much in the whole film. You have Nurse Debbie. Okay? And Nurse Debbie is being played by Debbie Mazar. Among a million other things, you would know her from Empire Records. And here's the next thing, too. Every single character on the screen is like a cameo. You just watch it. Open up the IMDb while you're watching this movie. And every character you see, like, hey, I think I know who that is. You do. Example, there's a whole team of researchers that are researching toys. They're the ones that are in, like, research and development, right? Every company would have that.
You know what? In order to be competitive in the world market, maybe we need more of an international nose here. You know, something...
Yes, can we cater to Asian people, please? That would make me very happy. I mean, this vomit is very Anglo, very ethnocentric. This is obviously the vomit of the white man.
You have comedian Stephen Park from Fargo. You have Julie Hayden from The Cable Guy. If you have Kate Benton, who's a character actor, you would have seen her in things like Tales from the Crypt and a lot of these kind of things. And Yeardley Smith. You know who Yeardley Smith is, right? And if you go through like all the guards and stuff, you're going to recognize a whole lot of faces. One of them being Jamie Foxx. You know, Jamie Foxx is, of course, a comedian. Was in the Ray Charles biopic. This is actually his feature film debut. You have another one of the guards too. That's another cameo. And they're just ones I'm calling out to you. You don't understand how many of them there are. But we'll just do this last one. This is Shelley Desai. You would have seen him in Escape from L.A. and Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Another one of these actors that's been around a long, long time. Just open up IMDb while you watch the movie, and any face you think you recognize, you probably do. So think about this. You've just heard me tell you all of the pedigrees with the cast, with the designers, with the costume makers, with the soundtrack, with all the FX, the direction, the DP. Look at all of that. Think about all of that. How did this movie fail? I don't have an answer for that. I kind of wish I did. But I will say this is one of my favorite movies that I have ever seen. Of all my Robin Williams movies, and believe me, if he's in something, I'll see it. This one feels like this is really, really high on my favorite scale for Robin Williams movies. Something about it, you know, it's genuine. It's whimsical, and there's just something so special about it. It's some sort of je ne sais quoi. But I absolutely frigging love it. I don't know what happened that commercially this thing didn't do so well. And I don't even know now if this has like a cult movie status of any point. I can't even find it on streaming. I've looked all over for it. Fortunately, I own a copy, but and I watch it every Christmas because that's part of my Christmas viewing. Is toys. If you've never seen it, find it. Find it. If you've seen it and you don't like it, well, I don't care if you don't. But I would encourage you to maybe give it another look. Maybe you just didn't get it back then when it came out. Maybe you didn't understand it. Maybe there's something that just didn't resonate with you at the time. But maybe it will now. So give it another look. And trust me. Just trust me. And really give this thing a good solid view. It's glorious.
Let's wind up the truth.
I guess that's going to do it for me this time. I went on for a while on this one, but there was so much to tell you. You know, I have a like and subscribe button down here someplace. Please feel free to like and subscribe, join the channel, and just kind of see what other stuff I do. My film reviews go up every Wednesday, and I do other stuff when the mood takes me. So, you know, join me and come take a look and see what dumb thing I've decided to do on any particular day, because around here, you never know. Bye, guys.